Okay, so everyone take out their Ivan book. And we are opening to page 283 because I want to go back and read that last little bit that we read the other day just in case you guys forgot. And we had some people absent. So we're going to be at the top of 283. All right, everybody's there. 283. A couple more. Yep. Okay. Ready? Ruby. She's rolling in a lovely pool of mud with her two other young elephants. Another elephant approaches. She towers over Ruby. She strokes Ruby, nudges her. She makes soft noises. They stand side by side, just the way Stella and Ruby used to. Their trunks entwine. I see something new in Ruby's eyes, and I know what it is. It's joy. I watch the whole thing, and then Maya plays it again for me and again. At last, she turns off the TV and carries it out of the cage. I put my hands on the glass. Maya looks over. Thank you, I try to say with my eyes. Thank you. So that's where we left off the other day. Top of 284. Kenyani ambles towards me. She taps me on the shoulder, and Knuckle runs away. I watch her, arms crossed over my chest. I'm careful not to make a sound. I'm not sure what we're doing. She ambles back, shoves at me, dashes past, and then I realize what's happening. We're playing. We're playing tag, and I'm it. Romance. Make eye contact, show your form. Strut, grunt, throw a stick, grunt some more, make some moves. Romance is hard work. It looks so easy on TV. I'm not sure I'll ever get the hang of it. More about romance. I wish Bob were here. I could use some advice. I try to recall all the romance movies we watched together. I remember the talking, the hugging, the face licking. I'm not very good at this, but it's fun trying. Grooming. Is there anything sweeter than the touch of another as she pulls a dead bug from your fur? Talk. Gorillas aren't chatty like humans, prone to gossip and bad jokes. But now and again, we swap a story under the sun. One day it's my turn. I tell my truth about Mac and Ruby, and Bob and Stella, and Julia and George. About my mother and father and sister. When I'm done, they look away silent. Kenyani moves closer. Her shoulder brushes mine, and we let the sun soak into our fur together. The top of the hill. I've explored every nook and cranny of this place, except for a hill at the far end where workers have been repairing a wall. They're finally gone. They've left behind fresh white brick and a mound of black dirt. While the others laze in the morning sun, I want to explore the hilltop. They've been there before, and I have not. Everything is still fresh to my eyes. I take my time going up the hill, savoring the feel of grass on my knuckles. The breeze carries the shouts of children and the drowsy hum of bumblebees. Near the top of the hill is a low limb tree, the kind my sister would have loved. The wall is endless, clean and white, stretching far down to the habitats beyond my own. It's high and wide, carefully built to keep us in and others out. This is, after all, still a cage. It rained last night, and the pile of dirt is so soft to the touch. I scoop up a handful and breathe in the loamy smell. It's a rich brown color, heavy and cool in my palm, and the wall waits like an endless blank billboard. The wall. It's a big wall, but it's a big pile of dirt, and I'm a big artist. I slap handfuls but I keep moving and scooping and spreading. I don't know what I'm making, and I don't care. I make swoops and swirls and thick lines, figures and shapes, light and shadow. I'm an artist at work. When I'm done, I step back to admire my work, but it's a large canvas, and I'd like to get a better view. I go to the thick limb tree and grab the lowest branch. I try to swing my legs. Boom. I land hard. I'm too big to climb, I suppose. I try again anyway, and this time I pull myself onto the first limb, gasping for breath. One more limb, two, and I can't go any further. Perched halfway up the tree, I see my troop, still dozing contently. I take in the wall, splattered and splashed with mud. Not much color, but lots of movement. I like it. It feels dreamy and wild, like something Julia might have made. From my seat in the tree, I can see beyond the wall. I see giraffes and hippos. I see deer with legs like delicate twigs. I see a bear snoozing in a hollow log. I see elephants. Safe. She's far away, belly deep in tall grass with others by her side. Ruby. She's here, Stella, I whisper. Ruby's safe, just like I promised. I call to Ruby, but the wind tugs at my words, and I know she'll never hear me. Still, Ruby pauses for a second. Her ears spread wide like tiny sails. Then, with lumbering grace, she moves on through the grass. Silverback. It's a cloudy evening, chill and drizzly. Dinner is on its way, but I don't care. At night, we sleep in our den, but I'm always the last to head inside. I've been inside long enough. This time of day, aren't many visitors. Just a few stragglers leaning on the wall that separates us. They point, take a couple photos, then head over to the nearby giraffes. One of the keepers is beckoning. Reluctantly, I turn to go. Out of the corner of my eye, I see someone running. I pause. It's a girl with dark hair, lugging a backpack. A man follows behind, racing to catch up. Ivan! The girl yells. Ivan! It's Julia. I scramble to the edge of the wide moat that skirts the wall. Julia and George wave to me. I dash back and forth, hooting and grunting, doing a gorilla dance of happiness. Calm down, says the voice. You're behaving like a chimp. I freeze. A tiny, nut-brown, big-eared head pops out of Julia's backpack. Nice place, Bob says. Bob, I say, it's really you, eating the flesh. How? Where? I can't seem to find any words. George's job at the zoo doesn't start till next month, so he and Julia made an agreement. She's walking 3 extra dogs to cover my food. And get this, they're all poodles. You said you didn't want a home, I say. Yeah, Bob says, but Julia's mom likes my company, so I figure I'm doing everybody a favor. It's a win-win. Julia pushes Bob's head back inside her backpack. You're not supposed to be here, she reminds him. Ivan looks great, doesn't he, Jules? George asks. Stronger, happier even. Julia holds up a little photo, but it's too far away for me to see. It's Ruby, Ivan. She's with the other elephants now, because of you. I know. I want to tell her. I saw with my own eyes. We stare across the expanse that separates us. After a while, George pats Julia's arm. Time to go, Jules. Julia gives a wistful smile. Bye, Ivan. Say hello to your new family. She turns to George. Thank you, Dad. For what? For... She gestures towards me. For this. They turn to leave. The lamp that lights the zoo's pathway blinks on, blanketing the world with yellow light. I can just make out Bob's little head sticking out of Julia's backpack. You are the one and only Ivan. Did you fall asleep?
Yeah, but I already know the ending.
Did you guys like it?
That's a girl. Yes, I loved it.
Is anybody crying?
It's okay. Yeah. I was crying in my sleep.
Alright, so now we're going to meet the real Ivan.
That's the real Ivan.
Yeah, there's a real Ivan.
Ain't no way your name is real Ivan. His name is Ivan. Oh, but so this is the real
It says, this is Ivan. From the zoo at
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I've got an amazing job where I get to work with animals every day. So it doesn't really get much cooler than that, right? Love animals. But because I worked with Ivan for a little over 10 years while he was at Zoo Atlanta, they invited me and I thought I would share some interesting stories and some pictures about what the real Ivan was like, because we all know that the story is fiction. The one and only Ivan book is fiction, which means it's not true. But there were some true stories in the book, so I can at least share some of those. So not only do we have the one and only Ivan, but I thought I would bring a couple others. So we've got the collector's edition. After it won the Newbery Medal, it came out with a collector's edition, and the author, Catherine, asked me to do a little story in the back of the collector's edition book about the real Ivan. So I was able to get a story in here. There's a full color edition, and then there's also a children's book, a picture book, called The Remarkable True Story of the Shopping Mall Gorilla. And so all of this came about because of a gorilla that came here and lived at Zoo Atlanta for a little while. So, all right, like the story says, Ivan was born in Africa, and unfortunately, he had to be taken from his parents in the wild and sold as a pet. And he did come with another gorilla, which they said was his sister. It's hard to tell. Twins are very rare, so most likely it was not his sister. Now, in the book, it was called the Big Top Mall, but in real life, it was called the B&I. And they had a naming contest to name the two gorillas that they got. And so B is Burma, and that's how Burma got her name on the left, and I is for Ivan. So that's how they got their names, from the B&I store instead of the Big Top Mall, which is called in the book. So he did live as a pet for several years, about 3 years of his life. He lived as a pet in a home. And that definitely was a true part of the story. And on the left here, some of the adults in here might remember a TV show called Daktari. 1968, Ivan had an appearance on the show Daktari. Now, Ivan went everywhere with this family. He even went to the stores with them, the department stores, and you can see he's sitting in a vehicle right there. You know the kind of rides that you put a quarter in and that move? That's Ivan in one of those rides back in the day. These animals do not make good pets. I work with them every day. I love them to death. I would not want one. I would not want one living in my home. They just do not make good pets. So they're very strong, and they like to destroy things. That's what a gorilla does. A gorilla is said to be 10 times stronger than a human. So think about, the average gorilla who is this little, but eventually gets to be 400 pounds and 10 times as strong. So as much as they are cute when they're younger, they do grow up to be big, strong animals. But because he became so destructive and pretty much too hard to handle and control, he was taken over to the B&I in Tacoma, Washington. And here's a postcard, so you can see some of the animals that they did have at the store. Ivan on the left, one of the lions, some seals.